Alright my dudes, I'm Exelia and welcome to my channel. Come in, get comfy and let's chat about cosplay. Hi, I'm Heather and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. Yeah, my last upload was in January and Heather in January was very optimistic. So my first goal is to keep up with YouTube. If I can release 2 videos per month, I'm gonna be happy. As you may have noticed, that didn't happen. But I've got an excuse, a really good one. I have moved house and it's been incredibly stressful, but it's done now and we're here, and I figured what better way to get back into making videos than to show you what my crafty room looks like. So without further ado, let's have a look. Alright my dudes, welcome to my crafty room. So I'm going to start over here, because this seems like the most sensible place to start. These are my 2 desks. I franken-desk these together in the middle. This is normally my sewing desk. My sewing machine is currently in for repair, so it's not there at the moment. But this is kind of like the tidy desk. This is where I use my laptop. This is where I try and keep things as nice and clean as possible. And this desk is where all the mess happens. So I've got my Cricut here. I've also got one of my garage kits currently set up. I've got little Kotoko and Sumomo from Chobits at the moment. You might be seeing some more of them soon, who knows. I've got things like my paintbrushes and some art supplies. I've got a little teeny tiny vacuum cleaner. I've got my Clara cow, she's just chilling. A load of my Cricut stuff is up on the wall here, so that's all my vinyls and my mats. And in this side of the cupboard, I've got... it's a mess in here. I've got my iron, I've got my easy press in the back there, I've got some more vinyl on the side, I've got some sample t-shirts that I've been working on. This is all kind of like garage kit stuff. Under here, I've got some garage kits at the back. I've got a bag with just things in it. At the bottom, this has all my other garage kit crap in it. These are a couple of memory boxes. I've got a normal life stuff one and I've got a cosplay stuff one. This side isn't as interesting. I've got a bin, obviously, full of Coke cans. I've got a little step ladder because I'm quite short and it's hard to reach things in this room. And then I've got a cupboard that also has like sewing supplies and stuff in. It's got like all my overlocker threads and I've got like all my buttons and stuff sorted in there, but that cupboard's a mess, so I'm not going to show you. Above the desks I've got a couple of pegboards. So on this side I've got like general art supplies, pencils and bits and bobs. In the middle I've got all my Cricut stuff. I've got a little planner that very rarely gets used. As you can see, it's currently empty. Other little bits and bobs, I've got things like IPA and like rubbing alcohol and stuff here. I've got all the bits and pieces that I use for my garage kits in here, so like putties and glues. Next to that I've got a sewing one, so I've got my pins in the top, I've got some wonder clips, I've got some long and some wide wonder clips, an assortment of scissors and rotary cutters, I've got some measuring tools and some tape and bits and pieces like that. One of my main men of the Tales of series. Really cute little Sakura print that I got from my friend Lauren, and she also gave me this cute little thread holder. Underneath those, I've got a couple of sewing boxes, so I keep most of my extra threads in here, and in the bottom I've got things like snap fasteners and like little bits and pieces like bias makers, you know, that sort of stuff. I've got a little tub here that also has some sewing bits in, just to keep them handy. Got some Coke, very important. And my laptop, which is, well, it's just a laptop. Moving up, we've got the Croco Nana. I've also got my glorious Weeb shelf, so I've got all of my cute little figures up there. I've got some little plushies underneath. I've got my award from SunnyCon and one of the ones from MCM. Up here I've got another little shelf. This little lady is Noelle from Tenchi Ninarawan. She's actually my first garage kit. I painted her myself. Hopefully she'll have some buddies on this shelf soon. I've got my incubator coffee from Kamada and also my Haruhi President's block. Underneath that we've got some cute little balloons. As you can see, this room definitely has a theme. Got another cute little shelf up here. And then underneath that, I've got my Kamugi costume, which is very much a work in progress, but that's just chilling on my mannequin. I've actually got more pieces for Kamugi just down here, so I've already got her bow made. I've got other materials underneath, and I'm waiting on fabric to be able to make her bag, so hopefully I can resume that very soon. I decided to add some hooks to the side of the unit, so I'm using that to currently store my Coscraft wig ring. Got some shelves with some books on them and just like miscellaneous cute tat that I've gained over the years. Down here, I've got some of my cosplay props. So I've got my spear for Eleanor, I've got my broom for Shally, and I've got my sword for Prince Sakura. And inside here, this top shelf is dedicated to my Tarot collection. Pretty much all of it fits on this shelf because there's not a lot of it. But yeah, I decided to store it somewhere. It is behind a closed door, but it means that the cats can't get to it. Down here, I've got more Tarot stuff here. I've also got my Ica wig. I've got another wig here. This shelf, I've got all of my sort of cosplay craft tools. So I've got my glue gun, I've got my straighteners, I've got my wig curlers, I've got my heat gun, I've got some foam, I've got a wig head. This is just kind of cosplay utility stuff lives here. And down here, I've got a couple of keepsake boxes. I've got some resin stuff in this little heart box here. I've got some bags and just some Tales of bits and pieces. And in the bottom is where my handbags live, so I won't bore you with that. Got my Furby on the windowsill. This wards off evil from the neighbour's shed. This bag is where I normally store all my filming stuff, so like my camera and my microphone and all the batteries and stuff live in there. And over here, we've got all sorts of things over here. Up here I've got my WCS canvas, that's from 2013. You can see me and Erin on the end there. Up here I've got our award for Clara Cow's cosplay cup that I did with Popcorn Kuma. Then I've got my ECG banner for season 7, and then I've got one of the Tarot sketches up on the wall. It's actually the last scene in the anime, and that's the original sketch for it, so yeah. Got my Sakura wand, got a cute little Hello Kitty from my friend Madeline. Got all my makeup bits and like skincare and nails and all of that stuff just chilling down here. There's more makeup stuff inside this cupboard. So I've got all my general like normal use makeup here. I've got some extra palettes and cleaning stuff up here. Down here I've got some more wigs and a wig head, ashamedly shoved in backwards. It's a bit of a mess. Got some work in progress bits for Marth here, so I've got his tiara and some of his gems. And this big bag here, this is what I keep my lighting in when I'm filming. And underneath in this drawer has a lot of the current project stuff in. So I've got stuff that I want to work on, and then I've also got some cute prints that are just handy to have. Then this drawer, this is mostly dedicated to Marth. So this is the fabric for his cape. I've got some threads that I was using for embroidery. This is a pattern. I've got some silk under here that I was going to use for him. I've got his trousers. I've got some lining and some other fabric for the tunic. Underneath the cape itself, I've got fabric to hopefully remake Estelle from Tales of Vesperia. Ooh. I mean, it does shut. Then under here, this is the almighty wig drawer. It's pretty much crammed full of wigs. That's why there's some excess in there. But yeah, it fits pretty nicely. Ooh. When we moved, I was determined to get one of those cute little craft trolleys, so here it is. On top, I've got a little box that has a bunch of my wig stuff in. I've got another wig ring in here. I've got some other hair stuff and like safety pins and bits and bobs. The top bit has a shelf on it that just has like paper and like prints and stuff in it. I've got some hairbands and some little accessories. This shelf I've got loads of eyelashes at the back. I've got Trusty Got To Be. I've got some Mod Podge and some resin casting bits and of course little Tokunaga. Also got some dies and bits and pieces in there and like pipettes and stuff just for casting. And at the bottom, not that you can really see, I've got things like eyelet setters, I've got palettes, I've got a bunch of paints. This is mostly used for things like garage kits at the moment, but it's just handy to have a bunch of paint. On the back of the door, I've got two of my Tales of hoodies and of course my beautiful Kenneth handbag from Benidorm. And the final place to explore is this ugly cupboard, so please forgive how gross it is. It needs to be like fully redone. But yeah, this is where I keep the majority of my fabrics. I've got my patterns, I've got my overlocker, I've got some other little accessories up there. I'm just going to move this out the way. Whoop. And yeah, you can see I've got my colours roughly organised. These boxes in here, I've got most of my costumes in and things like costume accessories. I've got things like Warbler and foam down here. I've got some other accessories and like props and stuff. Right now it's really ugly to look at, but at the very least it does hold a lot. Eventually I'm going to decorate this all out and like shell out the cupboard and make it a lot more hygienic and just nicer to look at. But yeah, that's that. The best thing about this room though is the floor space. Feast your eyes, my dudes. My room in the old flat had a spare bed in it, so there was hardly any space to be able to cut things out, but now I've got loads! It's gonna be awesome. Hopefully I'll get to being creative sometime soon. In the meantime, you'll be seeing a lot more of this corner, because this is where I'm gonna be filming. Ish, maybe. And yeah. I really hope you enjoyed having a look around this room. I know it's a little bit busy with like everything on the walls, but this is the first time we've really been able to hang things on the wall and I went a bit ham. We did all of the decorating ourselves, so like all the painting, the wallpapering, like all of the furniture choices, like everything is like ours from the ground up. I'll include what little footage I have of the room before we decorated it, because this idiot didn't think to record any of it before we started working on it. But it should give you a rough idea of what it was looking like, you know, before we moved in and before we made all the changes, just so you can see the transformation a little bit. Big crafty room. So this is going to be my little lurking hole. We've got a little area in the corner where my desks are going to go. We've got a cupboard here. Can you believe? This was advertised as fitted wardrobes. Ta-da! Yeah, it's not. I've got to say, moving during a global pandemic was incredibly difficult. Like, we don't have a car, and moving between two houses, we got a removal van for like all the big bits, but doing all the bits between that, when you have to travel like back and forth on a metro with suitcases, absolute nightmare. Now I know the most important question you've got after that. What do the cats think? And I'm so happy to say that both of the cats absolutely love it in here. So Leon, normally he will just sunbathe on the floor. So there's a great big window just opposite where I am. And that during the day, we get the sun from like this side of the building to this side of the building. And during the day to the evening, the sun in this room is wonderful. And he just lies on the floor and naps and just loves it. And Lily loves it in here as well. Like, she's always on the windowsill. And sometimes she's napping in my chair and she's just so cute. Of course, as soon as I start filming, it starts raining. Standard. As I said during the tour, you're going to be seeing at least a lot more of this corner, because this is where I'm going to be doing most of my filming. I might switch it up a little bit just depending on what it is that I'm filming, but yeah, you're going to see a bit more of here. I'm also going to be making some changes around here. So the first big change is that I'm going to change my uploads from Wednesdays to Saturdays. It's just going to be a lot better on like my mental health to be able to know that by the weekend everything's done. It's going to be so much easier. Trying to prep to refilm and get back into this groove has been so difficult focusing on Wednesdays. So I know first world problems. Oh, I can't fit in the time to film for my YouTube channel. No, but it... I've also been giving a lot of thought to what I actually want to upload here. So I've categorized it into 3 different things. And the first one is informative content. So that's things like getting started, like how-tos, tutorials, guides, that sort of thing. And I think that's really important because that's kind of what I wanted to make this channel for. But I also know that a lot of people who are following, you know, of the few people who are following. I love you though. I know for some people who are following this channel, like the thought of going back to basics, like that's not interesting. You don't care about that. You want to hear like the anecdotes and the fun stuff. So informative, important, but it's not everything. Second one is topical content. So this is going to be stuff like if I'm talking about a specific cosplay competition or a specific thing in cosplay, where it's not necessarily a this is how you do it, it's more this is what this is and this is what I think about it. The main thing I love talking about in cosplay is the experience that you get, and I feel like adding more topical videos where they cover specific things in cosplay is going to really help with that. And for me it'll be a nice way to just scratch that itch. And the third one is more silly, informal content. So I've been toying with the idea of doing like get ready with me style videos. If you're not familiar with get ready with me's, they're basically like from the beauty YouTube space where you sit, you put makeup on, and you just talk about something while you do it. And it will still be cosplay related, of course, but I feel like it would be a really good way to talk about things that are just relevant at the time. So if I want to talk about something that's like popping off in the cosplay community, or with things that I'm currently working on where I don't want to make a dedicated video for that, it would just be a really good informal way to be able to just have a conversation instead of having something formal every single time. It should also help to keep things quite fresh and interesting, because coming back and just getting tutorial, guide, talk, panel, like, it's not that interesting. So yeah, I'm back. It's good to have you back. If you're new here, hi, welcome. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. That really helps. And if you've got any thoughts, leave them in a comment. I absolutely love reading your comments. I'm sorry I kind of fell off the wagon when I disappeared, but I'm gonna get back into it. And if you've got any thoughts on what I'm doing with this channel, what this room looks like, anything like that, share them. I'd love to hear it. And if you like what you see and you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe and tap the bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very soon.